55 men on foot, no horses, deep in enemy territory, walking straight into the most dangerous fight of their lives. This is not legend or fireside myth. This is a documented account of one of the most remarkable and brutal forgotten battles in Native American history. The Cherokee Waco Battle of 1829. It is a story of stolen horses, wounded pride, and a father's unimaginable grief. 55 Cherokee warriors marched hundreds of miles on foot into enemy land to settle the score. Almost nobody talks about what happened next. Today, that changes. Before we continue, a brief note about this channel. I share true history through carefully told, human-centered stories. If you find value in this approach, please like, comment where you're watching from, and subscribe. Now, let's return to the story. The year is 1829. Texas is not yet a state. It remains a vast and dangerous land where native nations lived, traded, clashed, and survived on their own terms. A group of Cherokees had crossed the Red River into Texas. Their plan was simple: settle for one season, raise a crop, then move on the next spring. They built 2 villages close together, planted their fields, and for a while everything went as hoped. These people were trying to create something lasting, grow food, keep their community strong in uncertain country. Until the Wacos arrived. The Wacos, part of the Wichita people, were a powerful nation centered along the Brazos River. In 1829, a band of their warriors on a raiding party discovered the Cherokee settlements and spotted a large herd of fine horses. On the southern plains of that era, horses meant wealth, power, and survival itself. Now the Cherokees owned some of the best. The Wacos waited until nightfall, struck quietly, and by sunrise, every horse had vanished. Imagine waking to that loss, your mobility, your trade value, your ability to fight or flee, all gone overnight. The Cherokees were furious yet disciplined. They could not abandon their crops mid-season, and without their fastest horses, pursuit was nearly impossible. So they held a council and reached a clear decision. Once the harvest was secure, they would go after the Wacos. Not only to recover the horses, but to deliver a lesson that would never need repeating. In April of that year, the Cherokee Revenge March began. 55 warriors set out on foot. They understood they were heading deep into Waco territory on the Brazos River. The terrain would be unforgiving. And the enemy held every advantage: home ground, greater numbers, and strong defenses. Still, they went. This was not recklessness. It was resolve born from something far deeper. The main Waco village stood where the city of Waco, Texas, stands today. Near it, the Wacos had built a practical defense, a circular sunken pit ringed by a raised earthen embankment, creating a natural fortress. Its remains were still visible decades later on the edge of the growing town. The 55 Cherokees reached the Brazos about 40 miles above the village. They scouted carefully, moved downriver through thick brush, reading every sign the land gave them. When their scouts confirmed they were close, they melted into the undergrowth and waited for full darkness. Picture the tension in that moment. 55 men sitting in silence inside enemy land. No horses, no quick escape route. They had walked every mile here. All that remained between them and the fight was the night and their own determination. Just before dawn, the scouts returned. The warriors moved silently down the riverbank and positioned themselves roughly 400 yards from the village, close enough to see shapes and hear sounds from the sleeping camp. They waited for first light to make their rifles effective. As the sky began to pale, they advanced, rifles ready, each step deliberate from years of living close to the land. A full surprise seemed possible, but one Waco warrior had risen early to build his fire. In the gray half-light, he heard approaching footsteps and spotted the attackers. A single shrill yell shattered the morning quiet. Waco warriors sprang to their feet, and the Cherokees answered instantly with a heavy rifle volley. Many fell in those first seconds, yet the Wacos greatly outnumbered the attackers and fought back with fierce desperation on their own ground. The battle raged for hours along the Brazos River, continuous, brutal, and close. Eventually, the Wacos fell back into their earthwork fortress. Behind the raised embankment, they could loose arrows while exposing almost nothing. The Cherokees outside stood in open ground with no cover. Mid-battle, the Cherokees held a council of war. One warrior offered a daring plan: strip down, rush the fortification, fire at close range, then charge in with tomahawks for hand-to-hand combat. To show he meant every word, he stripped immediately, tied on captured Waco belts, and walked alone to the embankment. He climbed to the top in full view, cursed the defenders as cowards and thieves, and stood firm as arrows flew past him. Then he jumped down and returned calmly to his comrades, untouched. Before the council could decide their next move, hoofbeats thundered from across the river. At the fight's start, the Wacos had sent a runner to their Tawakoni allies, a related Wichita nation. 200 fresh-mounted warriors were now crossing the river. The Cherokees pulled back to a cedar thicket to fight from cover. But the Tawakoni captured a 12-year-old Cherokee boy, the only son of one of the warriors present. They killed him, scalped him, and raised the scalp high on a spear so every Cherokee could see it. The father watched. His chief asked quietly what he meant to do. The man replied that he intended to die fighting beside his boy. And he dropped everything except his knife and tomahawk and charged alone into the 200 Tawakoni. The sudden attack caught them off guard. He reached their line and cut down several men before they overwhelmed him. He died exactly where he said he would, beside his son. Some moments in history need no extra words. Under cover of full darkness, the remaining Cherokee warriors slipped away. They crossed the river, moved downstream a short distance, then waded back upstream several miles in a careful maneuver to erase their trail. They never recovered the horses, yet they carried something else home to their villages on the Red River. According to the historical record, they returned with nearly as many Waco scalps as there were men in their party, one for each warrior who had made the march. And they had lost 2 warriors in the fighting and the boy. Against a fortified village and then 200 mounted reinforcements, these 55 Cherokee warriors accomplished something extraordinary. This is what the Cherokee-Waco Battle of 1829 truly was. Not a forgotten footnote in an old Texas archive. It was a documented act of discipline, battlefield courage, and grief so complete it drove men beyond ordinary limits. 55 warriors on foot who walked into the heart of enemy territory on the Brazos River and walked back out again after facing numbers that should have destroyed them. This happened in 1829 in Texas, and almost no one alive today knows the story. That is exactly why this channel exists. To bring these raw, untold moments of Native American warfare and extraordinary endurance out of the shadows where they belong. The 55 warriors, that boy, and the father who made that final charge all deserve to be remembered. If this story moved you the way it moves me every time I return to it, hit the like button and subscribe right now. It costs nothing and helps keep these real histories alive for more people. Drop a comment below and tell me what you want covered next. Quanah Parker, the Apache Wars, or another obscure battle most people have never heard? I read every comment, and your suggestions shape what comes next. There is already a growing list of documented stories, many so little known they barely have a Wikipedia page. Everyone is true. Everyone will surprise you. We are just getting started.